Okay. Hello everybody. Batman, welcome. Sentry, you were indeed first. Fizzles, catch up. Jason. Hello, hello. Catch up turning 16 tomorrow, nice. Happy early birthday. Ringer. Beta. Omni, welcome. What's the most hated mech? It's a good question, I couldn't answer it. Do I like Jovers or Palpitators more? In terms of effectiveness, definitely Palpitator. In terms of like funny, probably Jover. Because it's Jover. It doesn't get more Jover than that. Alright, hold on me. For this. Can you guys hear this by the way? You should be able to. No. There you go. How loud is that? Doesn't seem too loud, but I can't tell if it might be too quiet. What is Palpitator? That's Howler. Favorite Mech Arena YouTuber? Oh, that's easy. It's Escape. Doesn't get better than Escape. Any tips for tournament? If you can, try to start it as late as possible. Just play the last, like, 30 minutes. If you don't have time to grind, like, the entire thing. I mean, if you have basically all day, then probably starting at, like, 16 hours early. And then grinding as much as possible might be good. Because then you're going to get a lot of people who start it because they're not going to be able to finish it. Like 12 to 16 hours early, I should say. Said say less, bro's asking all the questions. Well, he only asked 2, I think. He said, are you from Europe? Which the answer is no. And then he asked kind of quick tips for tournament. Those are the only 2. How do I have tax? How do I do taxes? Oh. If you... It takes a really long time. It's really tedious, bro. But I use, like, TurboTax, which is usually... It's like a thing that'll kind of basically walk you through it. And you just answer all the questions that they give you. Atomic Alarm. What's the best mod for Eclipse with minigun? Perimeter multilayer. The best mod for almost everything is perimeter multilayer. Just because Revoker's so prominent, and perimeter will allow you to survive Revoker way longer than anything else will. The only way I place in tournaments is if I start an hour or 2 before it finishes. Interesting. Well, if you... The reason you would start basically as late as possible, the reason that I see for starting that late, is that, well, assuming that you're able to play till the end, right? That's then like, 30 minutes to an hour that you're playing against people, and you don't have to play, it's whoever can grind more can grind more. You're not fighting against people for like 3 hours, right? You're still stuck against the same people who you'd be stuck against. But if you start later, then at least it just doesn't last as long. So you just you don't have to deal with it for as long, really. It's the only reason. You gonna answer all the questions or just the good ones? Well, I'm not going to answer any of the ones that are like, uh-oh, you know? None of the questions that make you go, uh-oh. Should probably not do that. But I did, that does remind me. I did copy the link to my GearHub video. So I'm going to pin that. What I'm thinking of doing is just like, yeah. If you have any questions related to what to get in each GearHub tier, watch this video first. And there you go. And yes, before anyone asks, I would say Podgun 8 is better than Disc Launcher 8. Best weapon for Eclipse. Revoker in general, if you're playing CPC specifically, I legitimately believe that minigun is the better weapon. You just have to know how to play it right. Would you compare Onyx and Dreadnought to test the abilities? I mean, would I? Maybe. It's just a matter of whether or not I actually get around to it, or if I think it's worth doing. Overdriver and Viper, good weapons to use in general. Overdriver is used competitively some. Viper is not. Viper relies a lot, very heavily on the rockets. The rockets are 50% of the total damage output. And they miss very often. What's the best weapon on Panther free-to-play? Stormrack, obviously. What about EM rifles? Nobody uses EM rifle. Do you reckon going forward there'll be any new mod types? As in new mod slots or new mod? I assume you mean the thing that I've also had this question before. So like, you know, there's perimeter and blockade for slot A, but there's only one option. Like those two different options. Technically you have 4 options between the multilayer and the regular for slot A, but then you only have one option for the other slots. And I expect them to have other mod types. I kind of expected them to give us multiple options for all of the mod slots right off the bat, but they didn't. It was only the slot A. I would hope that they add more, because that just makes it more interesting. The other day you linked someone the database and you asked if he needs to click on the link. I'm calling it someone's going to ask about the GearHub and not watch the video. Yes, but I can refer them to the pinned comment as opposed to going through the process of answering the... question. So basically that pinned message is basically just a way of me saying, like, I'm not going to answer questions related to what should I get first in GearHub in like tier 5 or something like that. Like, if someone asks a question like that, I'm just going to say, like, just watch that video. And if they say that they already did, then, you know, maybe I'll answer. I'll probably answer depending on what the question is. I might just not have the answer. I'll also let you answer. Who here thinks Sentry should join me? I'm not checking your hangar, Junior, sorry. Hope you keep making free-to-play guides. Find your YouTube channel, Side Mech Arena, like your free-to-play guide. Much appreciated. Yes, I do plan on making more. There's a lot to go over. I guess, like, a lot of stuff is stuff that I consider to be kind of basic or sort of obvious, or even, let's say, the GearHub guide. Like, I've gone through it, like, piece by piece on multiple occasions, just talking about, like, you know, this is generally better than this. You know, usually if you watch my like my streams or my videos on new mechs and weapons, usually you'll know what I think about those. You watch my tier list, you can kind of figure out what's worth getting and what's not based on my tier lists as well. So I figured it was kind of obvious, but it was nice to make that guide as well. How do you get legendary blueprints fast? Me personally, I use A-coins. That's how I do it. But, you know, there's lots of ways to get blueprints these days. Especially what it seems like what they've been doing is they've been making playoffs for like a bunch of crates. So if there's one that you could easily win, maybe it's worth getting that, get a bunch of larger crates, possibly get some decent stuff from them. Sentry should definitely join. That would be up to him, but he's free to join for sure. How long are you going to stream for? Well, this pre-recorded thing only goes for 2 hours. So after that, it's GG. I plan on kind of trying to hold myself to 2 hours. Have you met any Flu member IRL? No, I have not. I probably could. Like, Scape doesn't live that far away from him. Not a Flu member, but BMP and me literally go to the same school. Bro called him Dentry. Oh no. Are you watching the gameplay too? I'm not playing it. Yeah, no, this is pre-recorded. Which I should have, I should have put a text thing here. Let me do that. Ooh. Okay. Pre-recorded. I have no idea what you guys are saying. Gameplay. Color. Yeah, white is fine. Nope. Want something that's like... Don't mind this font. Oh, it's almost a little bit more condensed. It's maybe a little too condensed. But it might be fine. Yeah, no, it's the best I got. Oh, it's in the freaking corner, dude. Where do I want this? Where did I have it last time? No, I don't even remember. There we go. Good enough. What questions do you want to get asked? Good ones, yeah. Anything you want to ask. If there's a question that you've asked in a different stream that I never answered, feel free to ask it again now. What's the best way to get mod parts? Money. There's literally only one free-to-play way to get mod parts, and that's through weekly tasks. What should I rank up? Deathwalker to rank 5 or Surge to rank 6? If they're both in your hangar, then you probably don't want a rank 4 Deathwalker and a rank 6 Surge. It's probably a good idea to get them both to rank 5. But that's just my opinion. Is escape watching? I don't know. Best mods for Nomad with Revoker. Perimeter multilayer. As well as all the other ones. Did you judge whether a question is good or not? He says, oh, you'll see. I'd get him in here. Get him in here, I'll freaking ban everybody. How do people get like 1,000 Acorns in a week if I get 300 a week? Because they actually play tournament, and you probably don't. Because in a week's time, you get the 200 from the weekly tasks at least once. And then if you only get 100 besides that, that means that you're doing basically nothing. Do you prefer questions about Mech Arena or about yourself? I don't think anyone really cares about me personally, so Mech Arena. But ask whatever, like I said. I've done like all my top mechs rank 5, just Deathwalkers left at rank 4. Yeah, it's probably a good idea to get it up to par. Otherwise you might like rank up Surge to rank 6 and then all of your enemies will be rank 6. And then you'll be left with a bunch of, like, you'll be fighting them with one rank 6 mech and then a bunch of rank 5s and a rank 4. What are the chances Sanji streams tomorrow? Did he announce a stream? The chances are, like, at least 3 times lower if he actually announced it. Let me join for, like, half an hour. Okay, I got you, dude. I'll be in Flu voice chat. Let me make sure I can actually hear you.
Hello.
Hello.
Guys, can you hear me?
They should be able to. I see your audio thing spiking on Streamlabs, so.
Oh, I'm already gonna talk about 2 people right here. Hold on. Let me see.
Do you have a special someone? I wish, bro.
I'm right here.
Here he is. Gotta make Sentry Rage? Yeah, maybe. Best mech and weapon combo to stay competitive for free-to-play. Minigun and clips.
Very cool.
It is so much stronger than anyone gives it credit for. Maybe slightly weaker than I make it out to be, but like, you know, like it existing isn't gonna win you every match, but I'll tell you, it's good. Everybody's going around running Revokers like chickens with their heads cut off, but it's like, bro, if you're playing CPC at least, minigun's better.
There was one time a chicken's head did get cut off, and he was running around like a Revoker Eclipse, so I definitely do believe it.
Yeah. Well, that's why this saying goes. A chicken can run around without a head for, I believe, like a minute or 2. I used to own chickens. I know this.
Oh. Very interesting fact.
Yes.
I mean, I doubt anyone would have asked if you owned chickens before, but...
No, which is why I volunteered that information.
Next time I see a chicken, I'm just gonna envision a Revoker Eclipse instead. It'll be something.
Okay. So what I asked before was, would you prefer ability duration or ability cooldown for Eclipse in CPC? If I'm using minigun, definitely duration. But both of them are like they're relatively equal in value, I would say. But I do personally prefer duration.
Yeah, it's kind of an easy question actually, because it's either minigun or Revoker. Revoker only has 2 implants anyway. Like you would use duration and cooldown, even if you don't use the range for Revoker, you would still use cooldown and duration. So
Right,
the only
you
other
just
option is minigun, and yeah,
speed.
duration. Yeah. Is it worth it? Stealth speed, by the way. Like I saw it in my shop the other day. I wasn't sure if I should get it or not, in case like I feel the Revoker Eclipse in 5v5 or something.
Honestly, it might be. It'd probably be better than range, if I'm being honest. It's not even. It's actually not a bad choice for. I don't think it's as good as cooldown or duration, but it's not a bad choice for minigun either, because the additional speed, the speed increase implants will counteract the turn penalty of minigun, so you can turn faster.
Yeah, and I would have to replace reload, right?
Well, if you want to run multiple, if you want to run like duration and that for minigun,
Yeah.
But I was saying like, yeah, as a replacement to cooldown or duration, you could do stealth speed. It has its benefits,
question.
but it's not as good, is what I'm saying.
It's a good question. It's like, for minigun, all 3 implants are really good, but if you had to sacrifice one, which one would you sacrifice?
Reload, 100%.
Yeah.
It's the only one that doesn't affect your killing power. Should I get Disc Launcher 8 or Storm Rack 6? I would go with Storm Rack 6.
For sure. But this, would you get Fragment Gun 8 or Revoker 6? Exactly.
Fragment Gun 8. You prefer a game where you shoot at the ground to kill mechs, or a game where you shoot at mechs to kill mechs? I think you're saying that already knowing what it is that I prefer. That's part of the reason that you worded it that way. I think we talked about it like last stream or something like that. Yeah, I think it's dumb that like half of Mech Arena is literally just like purposely shooting at the ground. But it is what it is. Just bought Storm Rack 6 for Zephyr. I have 5-star Samson. What should I do next? Oh, I mean, you're asking a question that I couldn't really answer unless I actually saw your hanger. Like what?
What should I get for breakfast tomorrow? All right, see, there we go. Who was asking me about the... There we go. That's an example right there.
You're going to have to... I would appreciate if you ask a question that's like more specific, right? It's like I don't know what kind of question you're asking. You're being very vague. Have your thoughts on Salver improved or rescinded since its release in December? I think they're about the same. It's something that like you could run in a competitive team, but basically nobody's gonna do it. Like one person might do it. If any more than one person did it, then you're kind of cooked. Like we have for Flu anyway, we have Sanji running it. Part of it's because he would run it whether we wanted him to or not, and the other part of it, the other part of it is that it can be really useful, and we like to try to experiment and try to use some of these like different like synergies, I guess you could say, as opposed to just like everybody using the same stuff.
But I am curious if he does eventually max his Deathwalker. Obviously, the Storm 16s would go on there. Then what do we do with Salvor?
It's a good question.
What goes on there? Well, that's a decision for Sanji to make. Yeah. Or he could just manifest in this stream right now and ask you.
Exactly. What's my favorite song? Just in general? I don't know. It might be... Cross this new divide. It might be Feed the Machine by Red.
The YouTuber.
No, not the YouTuber.
The color. Oh, okay.
The color. Yeah. It's a good one. You should listen to it.
Okay, gotcha.
When are you going to live stream on free-to-play account? I don't know. Probably not tomorrow.
Okay. Can I get permission from you to just time people out if they ask for a hanger review?
Tell them not to, and if they do it again, then yes.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna say it verbally. Hopefully, I can hear it. Don't ask for hanger reviews. It's not gonna happen. I can tell you what will happen though.
Yeah.
You will stop asking.
It'll make you. Can you do a hanger review right now? No. Sorry. I don't even have the game pulled up, bro. Like, this is literally my...
It says
It's just my editing
right
software, dude. Like, I just pulled it in here so I could play it all together. Can I accept you your free-to-play to my free-to-play clan? No. Probably not. Not right now.
All right.
Should I put Podgun 8 on Lace Swing or Hemlock when I get it? Guess it depends on what other weapon options you have. It's decent on both. If you have Stormrack or something similar, Lace Swing's definitely better. But if you don't, and both your weapons are kind of scuffed, I actually really like Podgun Lace Swing. Platinum, hello. How many acorns does it take to refresh implant shop offer? 80. 80,000 for you.
About to say. Only once.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. The
Platinum doesn't do it only once.
Like, Podgun is good. I feel like it's underrated, but people put it on Deathwalker for some reason. Like, why would you put it on that?
I sort of understand just because it has like crazy good reach. And the 16s are really useful. But like, okay, at that point use it on Solus. Podgun Solus is like those people get it. Podgun Solus is nasty, dude.
Mm-hmm.
There's Sanjay.
Same with like I told you, dude.
Once I get my Deathwalker max, I'll probably use pods on Salver since it helped me deal with Lace Wings. Fair enough. I do think the Stormracks are going to be so much better, though, dude. Because, like, the difference between Salver and Solus is that Solus wants to be able to curve the ability to hit enemies. Salver wants to stay away from enemies, period. All it's interested in is the allies, right? So if you do have to deal with an enemy, then it's probably someone who's getting close, in which case you need burst damage. Heavy burst damage.
He could
do missile racks like I do. I'm like...
or Overdrive. Actually, Overdrive is not that bad. I've been using it.
It is not, but it's also not the kind of burst damage that I'm thinking you need.
Like, I'm just thinking of, like, we already have all those players, though. We have, like, we literally have all the Stormrack Deathwalkers. Like, I think it's fine if one of them doesn't have Stormrack.
Oh, you meant using Overdriver on Deathwalker.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you meant on Salver. I was like, I don't know about that one, Chief.
No.
How often do you stream? It just depends. I just stream whenever I feel like it, basically. Why am I streaming so late? Because I don't want to stream at the same time every day. I want to give certain people the option to join. And also, I woke up late. But that was because I didn't plan on streaming that early. What pilot rarity of missile pilot should I get? Depends on what SP you're at. If you can get a legendary, then, I mean, probably do that. The epics... I don't know.
What is it, like 3,000?
Yeah. I have a mixed relationship with the epics, though. Because it's like, they cost A coins, and you could just say screw it and just get the legendary instead. But the epic is just, like, so much better than the rare.
Depends. If you have Storm X, yeah, definitely get a legendary.
I have one legendary Storm Reload implant. My others are epic. Should I put it on Deathwalker, Lacewing, or Hemlock? Deathwalker gets sent back a lot, and you have to wait for your cooldown, so you don't necessarily need quick reload. Hemlock is kind of the same deal. You have plenty of time if you have the ability, theoretically. So probably Lacewing. Who was your favorite high school teacher?
Right.
I was homeschooled, so my mom. But also, if I wasn't, what do you want to name? Like, you're not gonna know them.
I want an address too, you know. I want to say thank you for you. But what the hell is going on in your gameplay? What is that eclipse doing?
I don't know, dude. This was from a long time ago. It was stuff that I recorded, and I was like, I'm not sure if I'm going to use this because I was trying to use different stuff, and yeah, nah, I just never used it. This is why I don't play 5v5 either. I'm not good at 5v5. Do you have a favorite build? Not really. I have a favorite mech and I have a favorite weapon, but like, I don't really use them together very often.
My goodness, this guy asked what is 5v5?
What is 5 times 5? It's 25. I'm pretty sure that wasn't the question, but you know what? We're gonna roll with that.
You did answer it.
ORNG or Flu? Well, considering I have no idea who the other people are.
Yeah, considering he's in one of those clans.
Is dual grav 10s good on Bastion? Yeah, Bastion's pretty good with Graviton, actually. Also, what's with the G's, man? Would I not answer you fast enough? Like, what's going on? Can you join Flu? No.
Yeah, no.
Just because I said I'll answer doesn't mean I'll answer the way you want me
I'll
to.
answer. It might not be the answer you're looking for. But
This is not a Ruffles says yes for 24 hours thing. 2 pod 10 for Vortex, better combo than 2 Ember. It could be, if you're playing CPC, probably. People use close quarters weapons on Vortex, and I really don't think that they should. If you're playing like 2v2 or like even 5v5 or free-for-all, then close quarters is going to be way better. It's orange spelled wrong. Oh, well, I don't.
Wait, orange or
by that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what that's... I don't know what the question was supposed to be. I don't have Lacewing, but I've heard it can't be Hunter's marked or dazed while in the air. That's not fully true, but it's very difficult. So the thing is, like, if the reason it can't be hit easily is because it moves really fast while it's jumping. So if you throw your mark at the right time, when the Lacewing is at, like, the peak of its jump, then it has, like, the least amount of velocity right then, because it's slowing down and then starting to speed up in the downward direction. So you have a bit of, like, a time window to get it where it's somewhat reliable. But also, if they're just, like, jumping straight up and they're not really moving sideways at all, then it usually is not too hard to hit them. So it's definitely possible, it's just hard. Who's the other guy talking? That is Sentry.
It's a special someone.
Yeah, exactly. If you want him, if you want me to, like, turn up his volume or something, just let me know. It should be fine, but yeah. I don't know. You gotta go MTD? Okay, no worries. What do you think the best weapon for Redeemer is in Tier 5? What is Tier 5? Okay, you have 8 energy legendary, I think. For Redeemer... Podgun Redeemer's not bad. Honestly. I mean, obviously, like, you know, your best option is going to be Stormwreck 10 and 6. or just even double Storm Rank 6. But it's a matter of, like, are those better on other stuff, right? Should you get Pod Aegis? You should probably get both of those. I don't know if you should necessarily use them together. You could try using them together. I think both of them are worth getting, and then you can try it, and if you want to keep using it, then go ahead. But if you don't think it's very good, then, you know, try using different weapons on Aegis. Use the Pod Gun on something else. We see an update all about buffs and reworks to weapons and mechs falling behind. I thought so. I think there was... I mean, there was some talk about specifically weapon buffs. And that hasn't happened yet. I think it was supposed to be for, like, early this year, which it is still early this year, so obviously. But I would have expected it to happen like December, because I think that's when it happened last year, or last time. But anyway, yeah. So as far as I'm aware, there's no nerfs planned for anything. There's buffs planned for certain things, but that's it. I have no idea when, though. What is your opinion on the current state of the game? I think it's in a positive direction. I've seen good things as of the last few months, but, like, you know, that goes for basically any year, right? There's, like, some good things, some bad things. Overall, the state from today versus, like, last year, January last year, it's kind of no different. It's just, like, some problems have been replaced with new problems, more than necessarily they've just been solved. I have some high hopes for this year, but I will say, well, a lot of people, I don't know if you know, but Mech Arena is under new ownership. So it could be that they start fixing a lot of the old problems. I hope so. They did say, I heard from somewhere they were wanting to spend 2025 mostly, like, addressing like a bunch of, like, quality of life stuff, trying to keep players invested in the game rather than just adding new stuff for the sake of adding new stuff, fixing bugs, adding new game modes, adding clan features, stuff like that, like good stuff. And I'm hoping they do that. They probably will do that, whether they actually do it in a way that's, like, you know, interesting, I suppose, is kind of up in the air. But I will say, like, if you don't see any type of, like, real improvement this year, it's probably, Mech Arena's probably cooked, I'm not gonna lie. Planning to make a new weapon tier list. I have been planning to do that for quite some time, yeah. I keep forgetting about it. You should start answering, try it yourself, to the should I put blank on blank, same to the which is better. A lot of the time, sometimes the people don't actually have it, but yeah, if they actually have both of the things, and they're like, but which is better? Like, just try it, and whichever one gets better results is clearly the one that's better. Like, I don't know what to tell you at that point. You're kind of correct, though, yeah. I hope they don't nerf anything, honestly. Fair enough, yeah. Nerfs are always messy. As far as I'm aware, they don't have any nerfs planned, so at least there's that. What monster flavors would you suggest, and which one's your favorite? Okay, so this one that I have right now... Yeah, I know it's 10 p.m. and I'm drinking one. So it's like tea and lemonade. This is definitely really good. There's another... I forget what it is. There's some really good ones. The ones that are... The tea and the juice ones are probably my favorite. Do you still stick with your potential 40 energy mech theory? Yeah. I mean, like, what else are you gonna do? You know? Like, what could happen next? Because it can't just be 24 and 32 energy forever, right? That's what I would say. So I imagine they're going to do something. What that something is, I don't really know, but like, more energy makes sense. If they're not going to go back to the lower energy, which clearly they don't want to, right? They've made it clear they don't want to go back to any of the lower energy capacities. It makes sense for them to make a higher one. Do you play any other games? Recently, I've been playing War Robots Frontiers. Very, very fun. Unfortunately, it's early access. Nobody really plays it, so it's like all bots. But like that's kind of Mech Arena too. It's kind of still all bots. And you might be like, well, it's a War Robots game, so obviously it's going to be pay to win. There's zero in-game purchases. Period. Like I couldn't buy something if I wanted to. But it's early access, so I'm sure that'll change. Anyway, I'm having fun with it. Have you or anyone here played Mech Wars Online Robot Battles? Yes. I actually thought it was very solid. The reason that I stopped was because it is a mobile-only game, and I really dislike what are they called? Mobile emulators. I've been wanting for that game to come out on Steam because I thought the pace was nice. There was obvious what's it called? The like power creep was very obvious, and I didn't like it very much. It was pretty egregious, but it was grinder friendly. It was it had, like I said, it had a good game pace. The balancing was not half bad. Like if it had better graphics, it'd probably be better than Mech Arena, honestly. But yeah, it's only a mobile game. I would have wanted to play it on like Steam or something. But as far as I'm aware, they don't plan on doing that. Do you like dinosaurs? Nah. I mean, I'm kind of indifferent.
Everyone likes dinosaurs. How do you not like dinosaurs?
Okay, it's not that I dislike them, it's that I don't specifically like them. I think that's different.
Why not? They're so cool.
I just like don't think about them that much.
But they're so cool.
I mean, okay. Usually when someone says, do you like dinosaurs, they mean, like, can you name at least 4?
And can you name at least 4?
No, I can't.
You can.
I couldn't.
Try it. Oh my!
I might actually be able to. I don't know. I don't care that much. Redeemer 16 energy best combos. Stormwreck 6 and 10. It's not that complicated. So I've said it before and I'll say it again. The best weapon on almost everything is Stormwreck and Revoker. But for free-to-play players, the relevant weapon is going to be Stormwreck. So the weapon that you're going to do best with is Stormwreck. It's just a matter of which mech do you put it on to get the best results, because you can't put it on everything. So you have a limited number of them. So at that point, like, if you don't want me to answer Stormwreck, then you're going to have to say, like, what's besides Stormwreck? Can you even pronounce pterodactyl? Can you? Pod 10 cost? Look it up. It's the Mech Arena Master Database is in the stream description, so you can look it up yourself. I don't know it off the top of my head. I know some costs off the top of my head, but not that. Do you ever see the potential of a longer game mode? TDM to 75 with multiple respawns? That would be cool. I actually would prefer a longer game mode, personally. I like battles that are like 10 minutes long, as I think is a good amount of time. Because it's long enough to get you invested and make you actually care about the match, but it's short enough to where it's not going to take you all day. Like, you can still get, like, 5-6 battles off in an hour. I mean, possibly more, depending on, how quickly the battles end, realistically. Because, Mech Arena battles are 5 minutes, but they usually actually last 5 minutes. Or they rarely ever last 5 minutes. That's what I meant to say. So, yeah, I mean, like, you could get, like, probably easily 8 matches of 10-minute battle in an hour, which isn't bad. That's pretty good. I think 10 minutes would be a good amount of time. But you'd have to figure out a good way to do it, right? You could allow multiple respawns. You could even just, like, double the number of... could you make just, like, the map way bigger and double the number of players, basically. More total players. The match would just take longer, just in general. Tetra Rifle is a cool idea, but it looks ugly. I don't specifically agree with that, but fair enough. That is your opinion. This guy's asking a question specifically not directed at me. Okay.
Let me see.
CPC to a 200 to 300 with 3 respawns per hangar slot. It could be interesting, but if you're gonna make it longer, I would say why bother, right? If it's going to be, like, why bother keeping the exact same rules as classic CPC? If you're not gonna, like, if you're gonna make it longer, I would say make the map bigger, add more players. That would be the main, like, appeal to it, right? Because I would assume that's what people are looking for in a longer match. They want, like, larger scale battles, I guess you could say. Is Doritos your enemy? My mortal enemy. Correct. When they first announced Free For All, I thought it would be a large open map. Like game mode with larger open maps. The reason they don't do that is because literally just, like, you're gonna get somebody, like, just absolutely rinsing everyone from across the map. Like, it would make it very monotonous. Like, I understand the sentiment of people who are always, like, upset about people hiding in, like, using cover. It's kind of frustrating when that happens, but at the same time, if cover didn't exist, then what are you even doing? Is Podgun 8 worth it? Probably better than Disc Launcher 8, yeah. What Ruffles flavor is your favorite? I don't know. I don't really eat them.
Smith's not accountable, dude. Come on.
Exactly. Be crazy.
Looks it, but he's not it.
Looks it, but he's not it. Is it true that the cooldown implant doesn't work for Sentinel? Yeah. Yeah, no, it just straight up does not work. You could ask me why, but I couldn't tell you why. But you can verify it for yourself. you can go to the cooldown implant. It says reduces cooldown for mech abilities. The word mech is like in yellow. I'm pretty sure that's like basically the exact words. And I believe it's the word mech is in yellow. You can press on that, and it'll show you a list of every single one of the mechs that are affected by it. Sentinel's not on that list. Slingshot's not in that list. Puma's not in that list. But that is because Slingshot and Puma, I guess they just got forgot about. It does actually work for them. I did test it. Yeah, legit, bro. They're just like, nah, I can't be bothered.
What, like iOS? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, that's the real question. Where's Red? That's the real question.
Yeah.
Also, you guys seeing this? I recorded this. This man's things were not going down.
I'm looking at it, yeah. Oh my goodness.
They were going down. He just kept throwing more. I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? I can't move. I have 0 HP. Turns out they didn't actually damage me, but...
Oh, okay.
I wanted to use this footage at some point, but like, I'm glad I was able to point it out here. Like, you look like you could tell I'm so confused, dude. I'm like, wait, what is happening? Yeah. There's that one that's freaking floating.
Oh yeah, there's what? Okay.
it's just chilling there. I don't know what it got stuck to. I was like, okay, time to move on. The Northern Lights, bro, for real. That was ridiculous. Thank you.
Did they hear that?
Probably. I don't know. Not sure what it was that was a mirror moment, though.
I occasionally
just felt like it.
Soundboard. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a soundboard, and then I'm like, oh, of course.
Who is talking besides me? That's Sentry.
This is me. By the way, Instant Gaming, I'm about to time you out because I'm looking at your questions, and I almost feel like you're just throwing questions out there that... Let's read them real quick. Hold on. Because I was like, wait.
Got the chat police in here. Hold up. What's the evidence, sir?
So
what are the charges?
Okay, he asked you your name twice.
Oh.
He asked the Redeemer question twice. Well, there's nothing wrong with asking a question twice, but...
Mm-hmm. As long as you're not spamming it.
Mm. And he was like, do you like Dreadnought? EM or Rail? And I'm just waiting. I'm scouting you, dude. I'm scouting you. I'm waiting for you to ask something.
What's your social security number? Yeah, then be freaking over for you. Why would you buy stuff if you're not playing competitively when you know you're gonna make if available in game anyways? What is that question supposed to be? I don't think that's directed toward me, because I play competitively quite often. So like, sure, yeah, 2 thumbs up. Good stuff.
So he's saying that if you're not competitive, you should be free to play. That's what he's saying.
It could be cheaper, but it's a lot of reasonable offers, but there's also a lot of unreasonable offers.
You have people getting Deathwalker at rank 3, Minigun at rank 3,
mm-hmm.
And then
for
is that me?
Freaking $5, yeah.
Hey, guys, I made a cameo. Look. Phalanx, I'm not a math teacher. I would never. Okay.
Not a fan of Battle Royale mode because you think people would camp and hide. I mean, it depends on the way that the maps are organized, right? if it is like, okay, Battle Royale games in general. Oh yeah, this is the one where I freaking went to the back rooms.
Oh yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there, by the way. Like, hold on. Dude. And at Century, you already saw this, but everybody else.
Yeah.
Bro, it just made the craziest sound, and then my camera just like went off into nowhere. Just like, bye. I can even see myself still there on your from your perspective. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, cause I killed you, but then like it's like you didn't die. Like I don't know, like dude.
I don't know what that was.
I don't know.
I didn't even see my shield dropping. I didn't even know you were shooting at me, dude. When did you start playing Mech Arena? Like 4 years ago. Anyway, in terms of like for the battle royale thing, the reason battle royale games have you know, like the playing zone, you know how it always like shrinks in on you. It's to force people to move because otherwise they'd just hide in a building the entire time, right? So like, it is a very campy game. You'd have to force people to move somehow. It's just a matter of like, you know, if you force people, if the first person to move is almost always somebody who ends up dying, right? Like if being forced to move is basically a death sentence, then yeah, it would be very campy game mode because, you know, everyone's going to try to camp as much as possible. What do you think about the tankers? I think they're no skill. That's what I think.
Garbage.
Garbage.
See, that calls for... Anyways, yeah, it's been like half an hour. I'm gonna head out now. So I know I answered like 2 questions or something, but
maybe.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Maybe, yeah. It could have been one, but
it's okay. It's okay.
Good luck. You said like what? You still have like an hour and something left, so.
I started 60 minutes ago, so yeah, I got like an hour left.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to keep it to like two hours, guys.
Wait, that guy I have done PhD in spamming. He spammed. Okay, well he said it himself, so I'll just.
Bye.
Okay, it's only a little bit.
Okay.
He'll come back and he'll ask you, Chang and a Stormwreck. Goodbye.
All right,
goodbye, guys. Hold on. I need to do the.
We'll see you out there on the battlefield.
Yeah. There you go. It was kind of quiet. I don't know if you guys heard that. It was 2:11. You want Mayor music? Nah, I can't play the regular Mayor music because otherwise Mayor will, his spirit will take over my stream. And he'll haunt me, bro. Also, I forgot. This match, I was, like, answering something on Discord, I think. I just, like, stopped. Why is the missile rack outlaw in your competitive hangar? Because I haven't really found a better weapon, if I'm being honest. Strike Rocket is not really able to do the kind of damage that I would need it to do. Pod Gun sounds like a perfect fit, but it just isn't. I couldn't really tell you why. I think if you have an outlaw, and you're able to, because like basically your one and only job as an outlaw is to crash Deathwalkers, right? If you're able to crash a Deathwalker, more than likely it's not their first spawn. So, you know, a lot of times their shields are already gone. So you want a weapon that can actually kill the thing without having to rely on teammates to kill it. And Missile Rack is Missile Rack 16 is just solid, like it's able to do that. So. The camper's in 2v2 that only kills you one time and then runs away. I don't like deathmatch modes just in general because it's literally just about who has the better like brawling build essentially. Whoever has the better hanger is going to win in like a 2v2 or a 5v5 basically every time. Unless there's a pretty big skill gap. Atomic. No worries, take care. What do you think about a Gemini Orion build? It could be decent. The like double shot of Gemini it's very disappointing. I don't see it being a good weapon, personally. Like, maybe, I guess, but I don't know. Particle Beam versus Graviton. Graviton's way better. Particle Beam is, like, not even worth considering, dude. Cax ran the Gemini Orion, it was decent. Yeah, but, like, he'll run anything and make it look decent, right? Like, if the point of the video is to run a Gemini Orion, then you're going to upload a match that is at least somewhat where, you know, where you're at least doing something. Otherwise, who would even bother watching it, right? Because people want to see what it can do, or, like, how effective it could be. What if you just, like, die immediately? Then, like, who actually wants to watch that? And also, kind of, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of depends on whether or not he was running his 6K pseudo tanker hanger. Because if he was, then there's basically no mods on any of his enemies. In which case, the Gemini is gonna do way better. What's your favorite mech vortex? Easy. Epic Divine, hello. Every hanger has Eclipse and Surge guided weapons almost have no use half the match. This is kind of true. It's kind of why I like Strike Rocket, actually. It's because it has such insane reach. It can curve really well. It can go over stuff. That's the one thing Gemini is missing, is that it can't go over stuff. But then also, Strike Rocket has a lot of ammo, so it can just beat away at all of these, like, multi-layered shields and just be really freaking annoying. Like, you're probably not going to kill a lot, but it can be really annoying. What's a good weapon for Orion? I mean, obviously Stormrack, but Railgun is another really good option. Preferably if you have the Pierce implant. What's my favorite weapon? Minigun. It's just a classic. Minigun has been my favorite ever since it came out. You could ask, I mean, basically anybody who's watched the channel for a while could probably tell you that that's, you know, like whether or not they know if that's for the case for fact, they could probably tell you it's more or less true. You face people 3 to 5 KSB higher than you and you win a lot, you play a lot of 2v2. Again, I said better hanger, not higher SP hanger. People conflate the two. They think that higher SP means that the hanger is better. It's not true. I'm talking the more meta 2v2 hanger usually, well, it's basically always going to win. And you could win with a less meta one, but, you know, there's going to have to be a pretty serious skill gap, because it's basically just a rock, paper, scissors of mechs and weapons, dude. Like, it's the least complicated game mode. It's just like I spawn my Eclipse to counter Surge. I spawn my Surge to counter Nomad. I spawn my Nomad to counter Eclipse. And there's no nuance in terms of where to spawn or like where to go, what kind of your beacon situation. There's no beacon nuance to it. I personally don't like 2v2 because of that, but just in general, I think everyone could probably agree that 2v2 is a very rock, paper, scissors game mode. Which just means kind of by default, whoever has the better hanger is just going to win. Is it okay to gift your free-to-play account resources, or does it wreck the free-to-play vibe? I do appreciate it. I would definitely accept it. But I know there's a lot of people who would have a problem with that. So, you could do that. You do with that what you will. If you're willing to spend, if you're, looking to support the channel in some way, you could, just like stream donations are always appreciated, but also channel memberships. I think you got gifted one, maybe you're gonna continue it. I don't remember. You could gift a membership as well, so that would be appreciated. So somebody else can get the benefits, like the perks. Watch like the competitive games that I play. So is minigun with Vortex good? Not really. Like it's not bad, but I don't really use it. Are pod guns good? Yeah, I would consider them like a top 5 weapon. They're not like crazy strong, but they're good given the right circumstances. You got to know how how and where to use them, I guess. They're good at certain things. I have my hanger 4.2, but it frustrates me that they come up with freaking max, Nomad, Eclipse, and Surge. With Revoker 16, it ruins the match. I mean, yeah. Bad matchmaking is going to ruin the match for sure. Arc 12 and 6 Brickhouse. Brickhouse is really slow, so I would not recommend putting close range weapons on it. In 2v2, what you do matters a lot more. Exactly. Each individual player is 50% of the team, which is why if you have one person with a good hanger and one person with a not as good hanger, the person with the not as good hanger basically default loses no matter what. That's literally my point. But I'm sure you'll continue to defend 2v2 just like I'd continue to defend CPC, so like I don't care. Like you can prefer the mode that you want to prefer. I don't care. I'm not here to convince you otherwise. What's the price of Overdriver? They're not for A coins yet, and I would not bother getting them with money. If I'm being honest, they're basically just a minigun with extra steps. Like, they're not really any better than minigun. And, like, they're about the same. There's not really any, like, specific benefits to using Overdriver over minigun, to be honest. What's your opinion on customs just for fun? It depends. Because, I guess it depends who's running it, right? If you're still running a bunch of sweaty stuff, then it's like it may as well be a competitive custom match. If you're running, like, funnier stuff, then that's a lot of fun, but it's really, really difficult to, like, balance those. Because there's always somebody who's gonna run less... There's always someone who's gonna run, like, slightly more meta stuff than other people, right? You tried Mimicker with Tetris 16s? I have. I liked it quite a bit. It wasn't necessarily good, but I did like it. It was enjoyable. CPC is my favorite game mode. Bots can too easily decide the match. I agree, but here's the thing. Now, I'll tell you something that I think a lot of people don't really think about. And then obviously I'll acknowledge the differences there. But the thing to me is, like, yes, your team of bots, like, let's say you queue up solo and you get 4 bots with you. Your team of bots are going to decide the match for you. But if you queued up solo and you got a random 5v5, your team of 4 players are still going to decide the match for you. I've had, on my free-to-play account, on my main account, it doesn't matter, I've had full teams of players who just were not doing anything. And I lost because they were not holding up. Bots can fall behind, players can fall behind. The difference to that, I would say the main difference to that, is that at the end of the day, you can still tell a player GG, even if, like, even if they beat you by a lot, you can still be like, all right, whatever. But if you lost because of bots, it feels a lot worse. It's just, like, nasty. Like, it's not enjoyable. You don't like it. And I definitely understand that. And I wish the bots were just straight up gone. I wish I didn't have to deal with bots at all. So there's definitely that to be said. But I think a lot of people don't really appreciate the fact that players will also lose you the match. Players can also easily lose you the match, right? The difference is, what I would say, the difference is that if your team of players loses against an enemy team of players, you tend to blame the enemies for being too strong. And then if your bots lose to their bots, you blame your bots for being too weak. So it's about who you blame for it and how you perceive it. But it's the same end result, really. Most fun build you've run. It's an excellent question. Because I actually don't know. There's a lot of really fun builds. What I find fun also very much varies depending on the day. I'm not even gonna lie. Worth it to grind for Eclipse? Yeah, Eclipse is arguably the best mech in the game. It's kind of between Eclipse and Surge, but I would say most people would probably agree Eclipse is better. Which, Sahu, yes, that answers your question as well. How do you think competitive matches would be without the current meta, if that makes sense? It'd have to be replaced with a different meta. There's always a meta that exists, it's just a matter of how annoying is it. I personally don't mind the close quarters meta, but the Revokers are just way too strong. If they were to nerf them but keep them as a meta weapon, I actually would not mind. I think Revoker's just too meta, though, is the thing for me. Like, I don't enjoy using Revoker, don't get me wrong. I barely use it. And I'll never use it if I'm just looking to have fun. Basically. I mean, unless I'm using it on, like, freaking, I don't know, Brickhouse or something. But, yeah. Like, I don't like it. But I also don't mind it being... I wouldn't mind it being meta if it was just a bit more manageable. It's cool how Surge is holding up when it's as old as lead. Yeah. I mean, that's why I have to fight back against the... When certain people claim that Mech Arena does constant nerf buff cycles. It's like, they don't. They really don't. Have there been some nerfs? Yes. Have there been some buffs? Yes. But that's like, if that's the only thing to justify saying that, then that's every game, dude. Are Dreadshot's good? No, absolutely not. Podgun 16 with Deathwalker. A lot of people use it, but I don't think it's very good. How to beat pay-to-win players. It depends. If they're just really strong and they don't really know what they're doing, then matchmaking usually put you up against them. You can typically beat them. You just gotta outplay them. If they're just straight up tanking and they have way better stuff and they're more experienced than you are, then there's kind of no way to beat them. I'm not even gonna lie. Just like there's kind of no shot. But that's a fault with the game. There's some mechs that do good against players who don't really have a lot of experience. Orion is one of them. Hemlock is another one. At what point in the game would you recommend starting to buy high-end pilots and implants? Whenever you feel like you don't need to continue buying mechs and weapons. Obviously, you'll want to buy mechs and weapons. Like, there's always more stuff that you could buy, right? The same goes for me. Bro, I don't have every implant. I could be spending all my A coins on implants. But, like, I have to kind of manage it. I have to decide, okay, do I want to spend some of my A coins on implants, on upgrading my weapons? Most of my weapons are not maxed. I made the decision a long time ago that it was just in general the best option, as well as it was just a good option for like my videos, to focus on maxing out my mechs first and then not worry about maxing out my my weapons. So I mostly just save my A coins to be able to max out new mechs when they come out. But you can kind of do the same thing. Like, obviously there's always more that you could do, but it's a matter of which one do you think actually gives you the most benefit. I don't think there's any one specific time that you should or like you need to get better pilots. Mech Arena should stop sugarcoating Crate Rush and straight up add gambling. I mean, didn't they already do that? What exactly are they sugarcoating? I don't understand. I think you're just saying things for the sake of getting people to be like, yeah, screw Plarium. But like, what do you even mean? You think Deathwalker's better than Seeker? I agree with that. Favorite thing my dad said to me when you lost a very important soccer game was you lost, you can pick yourself up and keep going, or stop and make the loss worse. Interesting. It's definitely true. Like, I mean, you can't stop yourself from losing. Anyone who thinks that, like, they should never lose, it's definitely the vibe I get from some people. Hey, look, I'm not the best loser either, but, like, sometimes you just gotta cope, you know? Like, to some degree, I almost recommend blaming yourself for certain things. Like, even if it wasn't necessarily your fault, there's still stuff that you could have done better, right? So focus on what you could have done as opposed to being angry about what other people could have done. Deathwalker or Vortex? Deathwalker for sure. I really like my Vortex, but unfortunately it's just not that great. Worst bot build to face. The Hemlocks. They're disgusting, dude. They're so annoying. Because they'll get you. To back you up, all mechs get a form of buff or bonus at max, like energy or a perk, but most weapons don't. Yeah. I mean, it was a calculated decision to decide. Like I said, like when I decided it was worth my time to max out my mechs but not my weapons. It was a calculated decision based on what gets me the most the most bang for my buck, essentially. But then there's people like Platinum who doesn't care about having usable variety. He wants to be able to have the best hanger possible, which is perfectly fine. But it's just because he has different preferences for like what he wants in his hanger. So he'll upgrade and max out his Revokers, his Stormracks, all of his meta weapons. And then he'll have a bunch of like other stuff. Like he'll have a lot of other his mechs and his weapons just like rank 4, rank 3, some of them even like they're low rank. So he can't use a lot of stuff, but the stuff that he can use is really strong. But the trade-off I decided that I wanted to make a long time ago was that I wanted the most amount of usable variety possible. And the best, just, you know, analytically, the best way to do that. Also just realized Death Day freaking dashed off the edge of the map there. It's funny. The best way to do that is by maxing out your mech because, yeah, like you said, essentially. Let's say you have a 20 energy mag. It's rank 6. You're using 2 10 energy weapons on it. You could max out your 10 energy weapons, or you could max out your mech. It's going to cost you the same amount. If you max out your 10 energy weapons, you get a lot more damage output. If you max out your mech, you get more HP, but you also get more damage output because of the energy increase, and you now get to use 12 energy weapons that you can then upgrade. So it's like, yeah. Mathematically, the best way to do it is by maxing out your mechs and then just, you know, having your weapons rank 6-ish. Julian, take care. No worries. Would pod guns on Eclipse be a viable build to use? I've seen it used well, but I don't think you could use it. Like, it's not going to work against other... It's not going to work really against, like, Surges or other Eclipses or a whole lot of other stuff. Eclipse has a lot of benefits to it, so I would say it's probably not worth using a sort of low DPS weapon on it. What ability do you think is being wasted on a mech? So an ability that I think is good, but the mech stats are just so crap that it's not worth it, is essentially what you're saying? Just want to know if I'm getting that right. How much money do you spend on Mech Arena? I buy the Battle Pass and that's about it, but I get a lot of benefits for being a content creator. Which, bro, dude, I bet. The number of salty comments that I've gotten lately about that is crazy. Yes, I get free stuff. Yes, I'm very fortunate to be in this position. But also, I do hope a lot of you guys realize basically every game has a program that gives content creators free stuff. Basically every game does that. So if you want to be outraged about this specifically, it's like, whatever, dude. What's your favorite sport or hobby? I mean, I draw sometimes. I used to draw a lot. Started doing it slightly less recently, but it's a lot of fun. I'd have to go with that. Outlaw's max ability range. It's 100 without the implant, 130 if you add the implant. Maxing implant or weapons first. Well, they cost different currencies, so you can do them both at the same time. But I think percent-wise, I guess it depends on the starting. It depends on the starting level. Each level of a weapon buffs its damage by roughly 2.5%, compounding, right? So, after 2 levels, it's not 2.5% plus 2.5%. It's 2.5% plus whatever it is. Let me pull up my calculator here. So it's like, okay, 100 is your base damage. That's 100%, right? You're dealing 100% of your damage. So then you multiply that by 1.025. That's 2.5% more damage. And then your next level, you do it again. You multiply it by 1.025. You notice that's slightly more than 5%. And this adds up. You do it again and again and again. 0.025. 1.025. So this should be 10%, but it's 10.4. So essentially, yeah. Each level is like 2.5% roughly. It's not exact. But and it's a little bit different for certain weapons, but like it's a generalization. It's about 2.5% per level compounding. So 2 levels of a weapon is better than 1 level of a legendary implant. And you can use that information to decide which one's worth. Like, if you're thinking of like buying a bunch of legendary implants to upgrade your implants, you can make some calculations based on like what you think. How long have you been playing Mech Arena? Like 4 years. Is Podgun really that good? It's a top 5 weapon, but like don't necessarily let that fool you into thinking that it's a super powerful weapon. Because outside of the top, like, outside of like Stormwreck and Revoker, like everything outside of that is kind of weak. Well, minigun as well, I suppose. So those 3 weapons are the main 3, and then after that, it's like nothing else really holds up to that. Maybe Overdriver, but then after that, like, you know, your options are significantly worse. So, like, don't necessarily let it fool you into thinking that Podgun's basically just as good as Stormwreck, because it's not. But it is, I would say, like, if not in the top 5, it's in the top, like, 6. Back to what you were saying, back to what you were asking, though. An ability that's being wasted on a mech. He probably wants me to say Guardian. I don't really know. Trying to think if there's any others. Trying to think of... Now, probably Tengu. Probably like Tengu or Stalker. They have very intricate and interesting abilities that could and honestly probably should be put onto mechs with that are like higher grade. And before you say it, no, I don't think that they should buff Tengu to be an epic. But yeah, I would say those are kind of waste, because like they are very interesting, and it's strange that they give like so many different ability features to a mech that's like freaking rare that you get really early on, and then there's these legendary mechs that's literally like freaking Onyx that's literally just like shoot rocket, like okay. How do I know how big of a radius my Stormwreck has? Well, you have to do the math. You can see what the weapon radius is, and then you can add the implant radius. Like if you have the radius implant, you just add that % to it. Your income from YouTube. This month has been kind of bad, I'm not gonna lie. It is... I don't really care. Like, I've always kind of thought, like, I don't necessarily want to tell people how much I make. Because there's basically two different reactions to it. I don't really like when people ask either, but, like, I also don't care enough to not say it. But I do want to say real quick, it's like, from my perspective, there's only really two different reactions that someone could have when they hear how much I make. And that's either that they think it's too much, or they think well, not necessarily too much. They think it's more than they expected, or it's less than they expected. Basically, right? Because I don't think anyone really expects a specific number. But I would say it's one of those two things. It's either more than they expected or less than they expected. And because of that, if it's less than they expected, they might feel sorry for me for, for reasons that, like, I don't think they, like, should. Like, I don't need you to feel sorry for me. Like, I don't care. Like, it's not that big of a deal. So that kind of feels weird to talk about it like that. And if they think that if it's more than they expected, then they get the impression that I should be spending more. I should be willing to give money to them. I should be willing to spend more money on the Mech Arena community in general. And so those are the two main reactions that someone could have. Neither of those are particularly beneficial to me, or things that I would really care to see. And for that reason, I don't talk about it. But as of right now, in the last 28 days, my estimated revenue was $305.56. Which, yes, is lower than normal. What are your thoughts on Skibbity Toilet, bruh? I ain't Gen Alpha, I'll tell you that much. I know it's not Mech Arena related, but don't you have a dog? If so, what kind? It is not mine personally, and I'm not so into dogs that I know what the breeds are, if I'm being honest. Like, I like them fine. I get along with every animal. But, like, I'm not, like, so into it that I actually know what the breeds are. Same with cat. I mean, I love cats, but I just don't know what the kinds are. At channels past 10k, do you plan on keep growing, expanding beyond Mech Arena? I think this year is going to decide that. Like I was talking about earlier. If... Like, they have an opportunity to fix a lot of the problems. I think if they were ever going to fix the problems, then we should expect the largest amount of changes, the largest number of improvements this year. The game's under new ownership. They already pumped out a ton of new stuff. They're planning on focusing on, like, quality of life and, just general, like, changes to the game just to make the game better. That's what they're planning on doing this year. And so, if we end 2025, we go into 2026, and the game's basically the same, I think Mech Arena in general, I think, is just cooked. I don't think there's any chance that I don't think it's gonna bounce back. I don't think it's gonna get any more popular. And I will probably more or less move on from it after that. Podgun or Disruptor? I'd go with Podgun. Enjoy your content, attitude, and approach to things. Much appreciated. I try my best to be, like, just reasonable, right? Like, I don't like when people just take someone's side for the sake of taking someone's side. Like, I think it's really important to give Plarium credit where it's due. Like, if they're doing something that's good, like if they improved something, then it's like, give them props for that. They deserve it. But if they're doing something bad, then it's like, give them crap for it. They deserve it. What do you mean, new ownership? They are not owned by Aristocrat anymore. It's still Plarium, but like, Plarium is not owned by, was it Aristocrat LLC. So technically, Mech Arena is not owned by a gambling company anymore. It'll probably still have the gotcha elements, because that's just, bro, it's just every mobile game these days. Like, you can't escape it, I swear. Switch content to other games then? Maybe. Maybe. I do enjoy making videos. It would be very sad to just, like, straight up stop, but, you know, it kind of depends on how I'm feeling by the end of the year, I guess. Maybe I do. I think Disruptor Orion is a good build to kill campers. It could be. I think it depends on your SP. Disruptor's kind of weak against anyone with multi-layered shields. Opinion on the new mech and weapon. New mech, lots of fun. Pretty good. You could maybe use it competitively, but it's not like super strong. It's a pretty decent counter to Surge, actually, which is nice. The new weapon, really bad. It has, yeah. Anything with a low ammo count is probably not going to be very good, just because of the way that the multi-layered shields work, which is unfortunate. In Spotlight video, a boy talks, I think that maybe you. The dude with like the super deep voice? That's crazy. He doesn't have a super deep voice. What is the word that I'm looking for? He has that thing that he does with his voices. It sounds like AI. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm like 80% certain that those are AI voices. And Plarium's made some positive changes over the last few months, definitely. But those are also holiday months, so they're more likely to make those kinds of changes, right? Like we saw. There's some things that they, like, I went over, what was it? I made a video January 2024. I was like, these are all the things that Plarium needs to fix in 2024. And then I went over that last month. Like, I went over it on a stream. And at the end of the day, I'd have to say it's like, there's some things that they did better. There's some things that they did worse. There's new problems that exist now. And I don't think it's necessarily gotten strictly better. I've definitely liked a lot of the changes in the last few months. But again, it's like, is that actually indicative of what's coming? You don't really know. It's hard to say. So if Mech Arena doesn't pan out, you would likely not switch the channel to new content or a different game. I don't know. Everybody's here for Mech Arena, right? And I know that my views would tank if I tried to play a different game. That's just a fact. So if I was going to do a different game, maybe I'd just make a new channel. I don't know. Maybe I would continue Mech Arena as just like a, like a sometimes thing, like maybe once or twice a week, something like that. Just for the sake of, because I'm sure, like, again, like that's what people watching the channel, that's what they want to see. It's difficult. It's difficult for YouTube channels to just like straight up pivot their content like that. Usually doesn't end well. Spotlight video voices are really dramatic in a fake way. They do sound AI generated. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, there's certain aspects of AI voices that, like, I'm kind of detecting from those. Do you have any tips to aim storm racks when both are on flat ground? Just do your best. You definitely, as a storm rack user, like I was doing right there, and I got the high ground to be able to get him, as opposed to going down and trying to shoot him on equal playing field, or like on equal ground, level terrain. I got the high ground so that I could actually use it easier. And that's just that's just something that you're gonna have to do with Stormrack. Like trying to shoot up at something with Stormrack is basically impossible. Unless they're standing still, you're not gonna hit them. So my tip would be try to avoid being on flat ground with it. Your views won't guarantee to tank. They pretty much will guarantee to tank. You know, Desync did the same thing, dude. He pivoted from Mech Arena to some other game. His views went into the gutter. And this is it's a very well-known, it's a very common thing that happens a lot on YouTube. You try to change people are subscribed for a specific kind of thing, right? They want to see a specific kind of thing. And if you change what it is that you're doing on your channel, then it just doesn't apply to the people who are subscribed anymore. Maybe new people would enjoy it. Maybe some of the old people would enjoy it, but definitely not as many. Definitely not nearly as many as before. And your videos won't do very well, and so they won't get recommended by YouTube. So, to a large extent, if I'm in a hard pivot, I would definitely want to just create a new channel or something. Because otherwise, YouTube sees because even though I have a lot of subscribers on this channel, you might think that it'd be dumb to start from scratch, but it's actually a better idea. Because YouTube they would see, like, this guy has 10,000 subscribers, but he's getting literally, like, 13 views. That must mean that his videos are crap. So I'm not even gonna attempt to push this toward anyone else. That's what it sees. If I had 0 subscribers and I got 13 views, then it's like, oh, okay. This guy has 0 subscribers. He's got 13. 13 people saw it. Some people liked it. It's a completely different thing. It's just how YouTube works. Which is the best build without Revokers in your opinion? Minigun Eclipse. I think Minigun Eclipse is better than Revoker Eclipse if you're playing CPC. You just have to know how to use it right. Gotta stay out of Revoker range. I mean, otherwise, like, Stormrack Deathwalkers would be another one. Deathwalker Hardened Hull, free-for-all, tournament for the win. One mod to rule them all, yeah. I don't even own any other mods on my Deathwalker. Literally just Hardened Hull. Doesn't really make a lot of sense to get anything else. Gotta go. No worries, Black Cat. Have a good night. Any meta builds for Onyx? Stormrack is the best you're gonna get. Onyx is not very meta-worthy, unfortunately. The quad rocket is sort of interesting, but it's also just like it's one shot. So if anyone has like a perimeter multi-layer, the best you're gonna do is take one layer off of that, and it's just not very useful. Heading out as well. No worries, Maton. We're approaching 2 hours, actually. Now that I think about it. It's been 107 minutes, which is like 13 minutes away from 2 hours. Minigun Eclipse is my favorite build. Oh yeah. Good stuff, dude. Do I want to hear your mech concept? You want to go for it. Nobody else is saying anything. Usually I don't care because everybody, the thing is, like, everybody has ideas. Most of them aren't good. Some of them are good, but even then it's like they're not actually going to be in the game, so it's like, why even bother thinking about it? But nobody else is really saying anything. Yeah, go for it. Leave. I'm all ears. Aiming with Storm Rex while being EMP'd is crazy. Didn't know you could do that. You could do that with Missile Wreck as well. When the ability is active, it latches onto a mech and gives them one of 3 buffs: damage, health, or shield. When the host dies, the mech detaches from the host. How do you decide which buff to give it? Like, can you choose, or you're just like, you're just undecided which buff it would give it? Personally, I would say if you're a mech down, it's essentially like a 5v4 at that point while you're using that. I would say I should probably give it like all 3. But that's just me. If you had to choose between Stormwreck 6 and Disruptor 6, which you give first? Stormwreck. Stormwreck's way better than Disruptor. What are weapons that are good in certain situations, but otherwise not so good? Strike Rocket is a very good example of that. Tetra Rifle as well. Strike Rocket's really good against Lacewing, and that's literally the only thing that it's good against. It's kind of crap against everything else. Similarly, Tetra Rifle is really good. Well, I wouldn't say like really good, but it's pretty darn good against anything that doesn't have a Galvanical. If the enemy has a Galvanical, you ain't doing nothing with the Tetras. Do you personally get better money from live streams? No. No, I get basically no money from live streams because I don't monetize them most of the time. You saw Penguin Zero talking about it for his channel. Yeah, I did actually see that. He was talking about, like, while you're live, Twitch is better for revenue. And then afterward, the replay, you know, people watching the stream after the fact, you get no revenue from that from Twitch, but you get quite a bit from YouTube. And that kind of makes sense. Personally, I don't really like multi-streaming because I think it's kind of awkward to have multiple chats going on at the same time where people are like if I'm responding to somebody from Twitch and then there's like everybody else on YouTube is like, wait, who said that? It makes more sense for someone who's like as big as him, where it's like he just chooses like one person to respond to out of like freaking thousands. But for me, it's like, yeah, it's not quite like that for me. But yeah, I did see that. It was very interesting. I don't really monetize my streams though. I definitely could. I've tried it a couple times. And I probably should do it more if I'm being honest, but yeah, even if I did. Hold on, I could check. What was... Well, let's just, like, compare it. Let's compare it. What was the last stream I monetized? Blast RPG on the live server. That was the last stream I monetized. Almost 2,000 views. What did I get? 23 bucks from that. Wait, did I get a donation during that? I don't remember. Let me check again. I did. I think I got like 2 super chats, but I don't remember what they were. I think it totaled like 12 bucks. So I got like maybe $10 in ad revenue from that. But then for normal videos, what's something that has like almost 2,000 views. Content creators versus Discord mods. That's basically the same. That got like $5. But it was a 20-minute video as opposed to like a 3-hour, 4-hour stream. Oh no, the Blast RPG stream was 6.5 hours. So a typical like 3-hour stream would probably give me like $5 as well. You would donate, but you spend your money on Mech Arena. You know what? Fair enough. Get stuff for you, not for me. That's based. Which mechanics would you recommend learning? Using AoE to deal back damage, taking advantage of back damage just in general. As well as, I would say just general awareness. I'm not the most aware player, for sure. Like, I struggle with it sometimes as well. But, you know, knowing where people are and knowing where you should and shouldn't get yourself into. Dash pausing as well. That's a good one. There's a lot of little things. Making shotgun frags push you? That's weird. I don't know why they would. I don't really want weapons that are going to push me around, honestly. Why are they adding so many tracking weapons nowadays? I mean, 2 of them were guided. The Blast RPG, if I'm being honest, I think they just wanted to make a legendary RPG. And they were like, okay, what could we give it that would be different from just a regular RPG? And they were like, I don't know, let's just give it like homing or something. They're like, okay. I don't know. It's an interesting question. I've never live streamed. My RPM, CPM aren't great for cryptocurrency. I didn't even know you made videos, I'm not gonna lie. I thought it'd be high like finance. Oh yeah, not finance. Those are high, bruh. It's unfortunate. Hopefully you get half decent money though. It's always nice to get some type of reward for all the work you put in on videos, assuming you put in a lot of work on videos. I have no idea. What's your opinion on Bastion? It's alright, but I wouldn't buy it for like 9,000 A coins or whatever it costs on the Gear Hub. Someone's gonna give me an exact number. Quick spawning is good for CPC. True, true, that's another one. I mean, hey, guys, while we're here, friggin', like, screw it, let's make a list. I'll make a video. I don't want to promise that I'll make a video. I will maybe make a video. Let's make a list, though. What do y'all got? Because, like, off the top of my head, obviously, I'm not going to be able to think of everything. So we got dash pausing. We got quick respawns. Some people think that I'm cheating when I quick respawn. It's crazy, dude. It is literally not that hard. And everyone does it. It's wild. Dreadshot are evil? They are, but not for the enemy. There was a time discs were unique, but not anymore. They were unique for all the wrong reasons, I'm not gonna lie. I do agree that the disc launcher homing mechanics were nice. And there's still some of the better homing mechanics. Like, I think that disc launcher homes in better than Podgun does. Better than Blast RPG does. Better than all the other guided weapons. I got Bastion free in spin. Should I use it and upgrade it? It depends if you have, like, what are your other mechs? You just tell me what are the mechs that you're currently using? I should be able to tell from that, honestly. Lacewing jump spots. I don't really want to add that because that only really applies if you have a Lacewing. Like something that's like could apply to anybody, right? And I'm willing to say dash pausing because everyone uses a dash mech at every stage of the game. And there's nobody who won't use a dash mech. Like, let's just be real about that. When you Orion tag Aegis, you deal more damage to the shield. I was one of the first people to learn about that. I knew this like years ago. But I kept it a secret because we were playing in a tournament at the time, and I didn't want it to be public knowledge. This was during the Aegis meta. And we were like, we weren't sure if we were actually gonna utilize that knowledge. And then after the tournament ended, I legit just forgot that I didn't tell anybody about it. So yeah, I've known it for a long time. I actually have an Orion video that's still in the works. I just need to finish the voiceover for it. There's a lot of different stuff. The shield piercing implant does not do the thing that you think it does. I can basically guarantee it does not do the thing that you think it does. And that's basically what the video is about. Will Dreadnought be able to fire from afar? No. Its range is 33 meters. There's an implant for it, but yeah, the range is pretty small. Seeker avoiding techniques. It's a bit specific. I'm thinking stuff that's like more generic, you know? Because like I've shown seeker avoiding techniques in my seeker video. I'm thinking like, what is something that almost anyone could do, regardless of what stage of the game they're in? That's what I'm thinking. And maybe I don't actually go with that. Maybe I go with something that's a bit more specific to the current meta. But I think what I would prefer to do is something that's actually applicable to basically everybody. Do you think Revokers will get nerfed soon or at all? Soon, no. At all, maybe. I think they would much rather just let them naturally phase out by creating some type of counter to it. They don't want to nerf things like that. But it depends on how successful they are at that, I guess. The way you think it works is it increases X% of the normal 66%. It's a solid guess. You're entirely wrong, though. That's one of the possibilities that I thought it was as well. Definitely not true. Dreadshot more like a dreadnought anymore. Shooting above people. Yeah, you could do that with like radius too to get around like even bastion shields. It's not bad. Hello. Who is this? Oh, it sounds. I'm streaming, by the way.
Oh, okay. PG-13 mode. Got it.
Yeah. I'm not going to be going for much longer, actually. It has been 2 hours already. But nah, it's
Are you in
just
game right now? I'm unable
s-
to see you.
what's up?
I'm unable to see you in game. Are you like playing your F2P account or something?
No, I'm doing the Q&A stream that I announced earlier.
Oh, it was today.
So I just have like
Got it.
pre-recorded gameplay in the background so that I don't actually have to focus on the game because I'm not particularly great at focusing on multiple things at the same time.
I mean, you could just play the game while answering questions like you usually do. But I suppose this is more detailed with
Yeah,
the
except yeah. But look, hey, if I do it this way, I have an excuse to not answer these questions during my normal streams.
I mean, look, we both know
Big
that
brain.
you're going to answer those questions anyway.
I
during the
probably
normal
will
stream.
answer some of them for sure. I've been trying to kind of reduce the number of random questions that I ask, but there's some questions I just don't mind if I answer.
Oh, fair enough.
Gatecrasher or Onyx? I would go with probably Onyx, honestly. Gatecrasher's better, like, theoretically, but, like, I don't know if it's ever performed better. Should you buy Brick House? I mean, that depends.
You should
You don't
not.
really need to. I think there's plenty enough in that tier that costs credits that you probably shouldn't.
You should buy Brick House. It's a giant waste of 1 million credits. Is what it is.
Well, a lot of people get it
Why
just
would
because it's
people
it's an easy legendary mech, and it's kind of strong when you first get it. But it's like, if you're that
What?
desperate for a mech, it's like you shouldn't be that desperate for a mech. And you could be spending those credits on like freaking Stormwreck 10, Stormwreck 6, even if you didn't already get it. Like
Stormwreck 16s are tier 7, I think. No, the tier 8.
8
Yeah, Stormwreck 16s are
credits as well, yeah.
Stormwreck 16s.
Surgery
Because
Eclipse, you
it's
should get
not
both.
any concepts. Oh yeah, that's true. Do you have a list of these questions? Or reading them from chat as you go?
I'm just reading them from chat.
Alright, hold on, I'm going to pull up your
Mhm.
stream on the screen.
How do you get assist credit while doing challenges? As in, like, how do the I feel like the assists are kind of bugged. I'm not gonna lie. It's not giving me
Yeah.
assists for a lot of the things that I should be getting assists for.
You don't get assists if you just deplete the mod layers and someone else kills the mech. So depleting the mod
Here's
layers
the
will-
thing though. Me and Sentry, I think it was me and Sentry. It was me and somebody. I'm pretty sure it was Sentry. We were playing a 2v2 match. No, it might have been Sanji. It was Sanji on his stream, I think. So we were playing a 2v2 match. I was using like beams for several of my achievement builds against bots,
Uh-huh.
right? I used the beam, I got this guy down to like literally 1 HP. Sanji kills him, I don't get the assist. And there's like no delay between the kill. I was damaging him the entire time. Sanji immediately takes the kill. I don't even get the assist for it. It's like, at that point, I don't know what's going on, dude.
Actually, I have not faced something like that myself, but what I've observed consistently is that the mod layers thing, like if you deplete the mod layers with any of the weapons and someone else takes the kill, you
Yeah,
don't get assist. So that is something that I've noticed consistently,
sounds plausible.
but I've not seen what you're describing. I've not seen that happen, not
Yeah.
in videos or myself. So
I'm
if
sure
you
there's
could
multiple
provide some
bugs
video of that,
regarding it.
I mean, this is Mech Arena we're talking about. So
Exactly.
with-
There's always more
that's
than
what
one.
you want. So, but yeah, normally assists usually count like if you damage some mech's HP, and someone else kills it within like 3 seconds, you get the assist.
Yeah.
That's how it usually works.
Well, I think it only gives it to like one. Does it only give it to one person? Is it just give it to whoever
gives
did it
to the
last?
first person. Yeah, it gives it to the last person who did damage.
Okay,
So
okay.
if
That's
multiple people are damaging them, and
kind of thought. Okay. Mimicry, you have to go. All right, no worries. Do you think they'll add a meta weapon sooner or later? Yes. They've been adding like
It's just,
there's a couple decent weapons, and they've been adding a lot of decent mechs. They'll add up meta weapons sooner or later. I don't know what it'll be though.
I mean, that is a tautology, isn't it? They are obviously going to add a meta weapon sooner or later.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, it's not like it's never gonna happen. But what would you say the most likely type of weapon? I would say probably like an assault or heavy duty. I think it's pretty easy for them to come up with something better than minigun. Overdriver is close, but it's basically just minigun with extra steps.
Okay, which question are you at right now?
I was just answering the MTD. He was asking if they'll add meta weapons sooner or later. Which, I mean, yeah, they'll eventually add it, but how does vortex damage work? Confuses me. I use it as the 4.7k damage says per second, but when I see the damage on max, the 4.7 seems like it's much faster, stronger. There's a bug that's making vortex deal more ability damage than it's supposed to, which is sad.
No, hold on.
Because the
it
vortex damage is decent.
Damage. It deals 4.7k damage per tick, except it usually does 4 ticks per second. There was a bug which caused it to do 8 ticks per second. So now the bug is fixed, so it should be doing 4 ticks per second. So if you see that 4.7k damage, yeah, they fixed it.
Okay.
It's no longer like, as oppressive. It's 4 ticks per second now.
It's kind of sad. I don't think it was necessary.
I mean, neither was the Redeemer nerf or I called
bug fix. Yeah, fair enough.
I apologize to the community, but yeah.
Fair enough.
You know what was unnecessary? The Puma fix. Did not.
They should have let that man get all the help he could get. Like, they're like, no, it's too OP. It was only for the implant too. It wasn't even just in general. Just better on Stalker in early game, EM Rifle or Storm Rack. Well, if you don't have the Storm Rack reload, then probably EM Rifle. You wanted to know whether or not you should get pod guns. Pod guns are pretty good, but like they're not as good as like Storm Rack, obviously. It's like, it depends on what it depends on what you're planning on replacing them with. It was necessary. Vortex was doing 226,000 without ability damage or overheat. I don't think that's true at all. No, I use Vortex a lot, dude, and I definitely am not doing that much damage with my ability.
No, it was doing a bit too much in the sense that if someone was...
It was doing more than it was supposed to, but like it wasn't doing so much that it was like a reliable killer. It was just a thing where it's like, you know, don't get too close to me. I got like freaking spicy thing.
Yeah. Also, that spicy thing that you mentioned, well, it could kill a surge just by the ability itself. So, in that sense, it was broken. But then again, it shouldn't have been fixed. Because, I mean,
yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, probably it could kill surge. Surge with the pilot has probably about that much HP. So yeah, it probably does do it. Sounds like a lot of damage, but over a like 8-second period. I don't know. It's like it was never that much damage to where it was absolutely crazy. It was just like it was a respectable amount of damage, and that's why I'm kind of sad that they fixed it. I'm sad that it was a bug. I'm not sad that they fixed it. I'm sad that it was a bug. I thought that was supposed to be that way. It was the only mech that I would say could effectively use cooldown, duration, or ability damage, depending on the weapon, depending on your playstyle. No other mech can do that, and now Redox can't either.
What do you mean Redox can't? I mean, Redox can, but he's just...
Oh, did I say Redox? I meant Vortex.
Yeah.
My bad. I meant Vortex.
no worries. I mean, you can still use the cooldown and duration, but yeah, no more damage.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like there's plenty of mechs that can use cooldown and duration. There's mechs that can use like cooldown and damage, but there's no mech. There's no mech that would have like legitimately be a good idea to use cooldown with some weapons, duration with some weapons, damage with some weapons. There's always some that are just like way better than others. Podgun Lacewing is crazy. It's hard to kill and it's a good Lacewing counter, but it's not able to deal like it's not able to do the kind of damage that a Stormrack Lacewing can.
It's a Lacewing counter.
Yeah.
Like that build is made to kill Lacewings. It's not made to kill anything else.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of a middle ground between like Strike Rocket and Stormrack. Strike Rocket is just like strictly Lacewing counter, and it will not do anything to anything else. Podgun is like sort of middle of the road.
Strike Rockets excel at killing Lacewings.
Mm-hmm.
Much better than Podguns ever were.
Mm-hmm. Pablo, hello. Okay, well, it's been... How long has it been? 15 minutes past 2 hours, so yes, I'm gonna call it. I don't remember how long I did it the first time. We only got, like, what do we got? Yeah, there's literally 2 matches left on this thing. So... should you max your Orion or your Aegis first? It's a good question. Probably Orion. I don't see a lot of people using Aegis. I think it's more useful than people give it credit for still, but Orion's pretty good. Especially if you're a free-to-play player. And you don't have better options. But yeah. That's gonna be that. Appreciate everybody for stopping by. I will... Well, I don't know. Somebody asked when I was gonna do another free-to-play stream. I don't know. Probably not tomorrow. Probably not for a couple days. I might give that a little bit of a break in terms of streaming it anyway. But yeah, I'll do it again eventually. But yeah, otherwise, appreciate y'all. Take care.